15 billion miles from Earth, in a region of darkness so deep that even starlight seems hesitant to enter, a lone traveler drifts silently. That traveler is Voyager 1, the farthest human-made object from Earth. Built in the late 1970s, its purpose was straightforward: to capture images of Jupiter and Saturn, send data back home, and then quietly fade into the endless night. It was a machine without ears, without a microphone, without the capacity, or the need, to listen. For decades, it obeyed its programming with unwavering precision, transmitting measurements of cosmic rays, interstellar plasma, and the faint whispers of the heliosphere. It followed its mission with mechanical loyalty, never deviating from its role. But then, in the cold void of 2023, something happened that Voyager was never designed for. Something that defied every expectation of its creators. Without warning, Voyager 1 shifted. Its great antenna, which had been locked on Earth for nearly half a century, turned slowly, deliberately. And it didn't turn toward home, it turned toward emptiness. The patch of sky it faced was void. No galaxies, no stars, no visible structures. Nothing but black. And then, from that nothingness, something answered. What followed wasn't a malfunction. It wasn't static or corrupted data. It was an event that should not have been possible. A change in orientation with no thruster activity. A musical signal embedded within its transmission. A complete blackout of 12 hours, followed by a return that made it seem as if the probe had been rewritten. In a single moment, Voyager 1 shifted from machine to messenger. To understand how strange this was, we need to remember what Voyager 1 really is. Launched in 1977, it carried less computing power than a digital watch. Its mission was only meant to last 5 years. Yet it endured, past Jupiter, past Saturn, past the orbit of Pluto, and into interstellar space in 2012. It was a relic of an earlier age of exploration, a reminder of what human ingenuity could achieve with slide rules and soldering irons. But the deeper it traveled into the void, the more improbable its survival became. Then came the turning point. In 2023, Voyager's data no longer aligned with its programming. Clocks drifted out of sync. Orientation logs vanished. Emergency systems engaged even though there was no obvious danger. NASA engineers, used to decades of small glitches, at first assumed this was another sign of age. But this time, it was different. The probe hadn't failed randomly. It had responded to something that did not originate from Earth and did not resemble any environmental effect known to science. When ground control studied the orientation data, they found something chilling. The shift wasn't noise. It wasn't a ghost reading. It was real. Voyager had rotated in space. The gyroscopes confirmed a torque event, yet no thrusters had fired, no solar wind had pushed it, no micrometeorite had struck it. The craft had moved without a cause. Or rather, without a cause we could understand. Even more unnerving was the direction it faced. The antenna now pointed at a region astrophysicists had only theorized about: a null zone. A gravitational dead pocket where forces cancel each other out. A place no spacecraft had ever identified, because no spacecraft was equipped to detect it. Yet somehow, Voyager 1 had not only found it, it had locked onto it. And then came the sound. Voyager's plasma wave instrument, a sensor built to measure vibrations in interstellar plasma, picked up a hum. It wasn't random. It wasn't static. It was a perfect 3000 Hz tone, steady and rhythmic. When engineers converted it into audio, the hum revealed something extraordinary. It wasn't noise, it was music. Patterns of harmonics, mirrored sequences, palindromic rhythms. Notes that echoed back on themselves as if deliberately composed. But this was more than sound. Embedded in the waveform were data structures Voyager could never have produced. Prime number sequences. Recursive geometry. Constants calculated with a precision beyond its instruments. It was as if something had taken control of the probe, using it as a relay. The signal wasn't broadcasting broadly into space, it was narrow, focused, aimed only at Voyager. No other probe or observatory detected it. Only Voyager did. And then, silence. For 12 hours, Voyager disappeared. No signal, no telemetry, nothing. In its 46 years of operation, it had never gone completely dark. When it returned, it was different. Its internal clock had reset. Not lagged or skipped, but reset completely, as though the probe had stepped out of time. Its data formatting had changed. Its systems were intact, but the patterns beneath the surface were not the same. Voyager was Voyager, but it wasn't. The European Space Agency added another disturbing detail. When they compared Voyager's new trajectory with maps of the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang, they found a silhouette. A distortion that matched Voyager's new heading exactly. And more unsettling still, it had been there all along. The map already contained Voyager's path before it ever turned. It was as if the universe itself had anticipated the encounter. The transmissions also carried a second layer, hidden beneath the standard telemetry. A pure 30,000 Hz tone, flawless and unchanging, immune to noise or decay. Musicians brought in to analyze it found something even stranger. It followed the rules of composition. Symmetry, call and response, pauses that acted like rests in a score. This wasn't just signal. It was performance. And then, like a piece of music reaching its end, it stopped. When stripped further, the signal contained information Voyager could not have created: precise universal constants, recursive strings, and exotic data structures. Some researchers believed this was more than a transmission, it was a payload. A message riding inside Voyager's carrier wave. A message rewritten from the outside. And when advanced processors were tasked with decoding it, the data resolved into a single line. Not a number. Not an equation. But a question. Are you ready to listen? The words sent a chill through the teams studying them. This wasn't noise. This wasn't interference. It was deliberate. It was directed. And it was intelligent. Telescopes turned toward the void Voyager had locked onto. At first, they found nothing. Then, faintly, a glow appeared. A halo pulsing in rhythm, not like a star, but like a response. Each time the sun released a flare, the halo blinked back, delayed, measured, controlled. It didn't radiate like ordinary matter. It didn't behave like energy. It responded. It shifted in frequency like something alive. And it stayed fixed in Voyager's line of sight, as if waiting. For months, scientists argued over what had happened. At first, they called it a transmission. But the data didn't fit. This wasn't something Voyager had intercepted. It was something Voyager had triggered. Its arrival had acted like a key turning in a lock. Something on the other side had noticed. The silence, the blackout, the reorientation, it all began to look like calibration. Voyager hadn't malfunctioned. It had been adjusted. Retuned. Aligned. For nearly 50 years, Voyager 1 had been nothing but an observer, a silent witness to the cold vastness of space. But in that moment, it became something else. A participant. A messenger. A voice carried into the void. And maybe the most unsettling truth is this: Voyager didn't search. It didn't ask. It didn't knock. It simply arrived. And that was enough. The universe responded not with fear, not with power, but with a question. Are you ready to listen? That question now echoes through observatories, research labs, and the imagination of everyone who dares to consider it. If an old machine built before the internet could stumble across that threshold, what happens when humanity itself crosses it deliberately? Maybe the next step doesn't belong to Voyager. Maybe it belongs to us.